your two new corners, Lyndon Stevens and Nate Brooks. Do you make a decision on giving them a major role this week purely on how they do Wednesday, Thursday practice, how they absorb information? Do you consider preseason tape? Like, how difficult is that? What goes into those decisions?
A lot goes into it. Just you see how they practice. You see how they, like you said, absorb information. I would say both guys practiced well yesterday, and we just, we take it day to day. A lot of it has to do with the amount of guys we have at the position. In a lot of instances, if we got an injury at the position, or the guy's banged up, or whatever the situation is. Sometimes you got to get guys ready quicker than others. So a lot goes into it. It's not one thing, but how they handle how much volume they can handle from an information standpoint, how they look in practice, and we've already gone through all of their snaps, game snaps. So we have a pretty good idea of what they can do. But then you want to see it in practice as well. So a lot goes into it. Just try to make the best decision.
Do you have to simplify what you're doing in the secondary because so many new pieces are there?
Or depends on how many pieces you have there. In some instances, you do have to simplify. In other instances, guys may have some familiarity or just understand conceptually. But cover three is cover three is cover three. It's the same as it was in Pop Warner. Maybe that's simple, but every team in the National Football League runs it. So I think there's some things that every team runs that really across the board guys understand. But from a verbiage terminology standpoint, there's some things that there are some exotics that you don't want to throw a guy in there and say, hey, let's run this max pressure, max zone pressure, or whatever we're going to do for that.
I want to ask you about Eric Rowe, how important his matchup is with Ingram this week because of, I guess, how much receiver. Can you move him to cornerback, or is it some situation where you have to leave Eric?
I mean, Ingram's a good player, and so is Tate and Shepard and Slayton. So they got good players everywhere. So. We have to cover them all, and cover the back as well. So, we're confident in all the guys we stick out there. Everyone's gonna have to cover. You have to know where your help is. Play with good technique, good fundamentals. Eric, we're confident in him covering, whether it's tight end or a back or receiver. That he'll play with good technique, fundamentals, use his length. Try to put hands on in man coverage, play with good zone vision and zone coverage. We ask that of all our players. I can't. He may cover the tight end, he might cover the back, he might cover receiver. He might do all of those things within the game, so we'll see.
We saw Devontae and Albert a little bit out there yesterday. Where are they progressing in the protocol, and do they have a chance Sunday?
They're still in protocol, and they'll be in the protocol, really till the end of the week, so. But both guys are working to get better and getting but a lot of that's out of my hands, and it's really a medical decision.
How does that, I guess, impact game plan wise? Do you plan as if you don't have them? Do you plan as if you do have them?
It's tough. You have to plan for the worst, I would say. So in that situation, if we don't have them, look, they may or may not come out of protocol. So, then the next set of receivers have to step up and be ready to play. So, I think, in every building, guys, when you're dealing with injuries, you're not necessarily sure, specifically with the concussions, because it's a serious situation. You just want to, make sure we've got all our, we're covered if for whatever reason they can't go. So. We'll see. We'll be ready either way.
Alan Hearns.
He's dinged up. He played through some injuries last week, and I thought he toughed through it, and it was impressive performance by him. working his way back. I think hopefully we get him out there today. You know, in some capacity. And look, this is a tough kid. He wants to play. If he can be out there, he'll be out there.
I want to ask Adrian Colbert. He's started the last 2 games at free safety. What has he done that has impressed you in terms of earning that starting role after being added?
Well, he brings a lot of energy on a day-to-day basis. He's got some leadership qualities. He's been here for 3 weeks, and it feels like he's been here all year. He's smart. He's a really good teammate. It's important to him. He works extremely hard. From a preparation standpoint, he's here. He's here early, stays late, trying to get the information correct. And he's a guy who brings people together. It's been good having him.
When you look at that next set of receivers, what's your confidence level in the guy like Isaiah Ford?
I'm confident in Isaiah. But he played well last week. Mac Hollins, he's kind of really stepped in and done a good job. And Trevor's really, stepped up as well. So I like them all. I'm confident in all our receivers. I think each one of them is, along with our tight end group and our back and running back, and the quarterback and the O-line. Look, it's a team effort. So you got to play collectively, play well as a team against a good opponent, and that's what the Giants are. They're talented. They've got guys in the secondary, guys at the second level, guys on the defensive line that are good players, that are talented, that make plays, that made plays. So you have to play well.
So you Devon Godchall will be Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the Dolphins. Why was he chosen?
My opinion on why he was chosen? Yeah, he was. I think he's does a lot in the community. He's shown leadership. Throughout the time that I've been here. This is a guy who's very genuine and caring and about giving back, and he's a good human being, and I think he's deserving.
I saw you mentioned Raekwon McMillan on a list of players who have taken ownership this season. Can you tell me about how he's done that?
I think just defensively, rallying the guys on the sideline when we've dealt with adversity in games, in practice. He's a guy who's taking a leadership position as far as getting groups together and going through the run game, or going through third down, or going through the red zone. I think he's really starting to come into his own and played some solid football for us at times. Again, like everybody else, players, coaches, everyone, we could always be better, but he's a guy who's important to him. Guys feed off of his energy, and he's really worked hard, and I'm happy to see that leadership start to show itself, really on a day-to-day basis.
Thanks, guys.